Does it count down itself too?
No, it's just starting, and we're live.
And we're fucking live. Boom. Facebook, hello. This is Salt of the Streets, episode 31. This is the pre-show. We're doing it at my house this week.
Like the old days.
For funsies, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's Keepwar Fest. We went down and got some beers. I'm Donovan. This is Colin.
Hi.
Before we continue, I can't forget to do all the social medias again. So
that's right. That's why I hit him first thing in the show.
Website, very first thing, saltofthestreets.com. Obviously, the Facebook is at Salt of the Streets. The Twitter is at Salt of the Street. Big Bird Offie is also Big Bird Offie on Instagram. I'm alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. YouTube at Salt of the Streets. That's it. That's all the stuff because you guys are on Facebook right now. So that's it.
You sound magical in my headphones right now.
Word. Well, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Today on the docket, we went over this last week, but the big three for this week is going to be, we're going to talk about the Kavanaugh hearing again. This is going to be like the part 2, part 3, because I'm getting really drained of this shit. So this is the last time we're talking about it.
It's draining.
And then we're going to talk about the scandal in the Catholic Church, and like we're going to talk about Spotlight, like even in the 2002 and then all the way up through now. And then we are also going to talk about some Joe Rogan, some lighter stuff. Yeah, some Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I mean, you say lighter,
it's
but we're going to get into some stuff about because the big one we mentioned last week was Larry Sharpe.
Yes,
and he's the big libertarian candidate running for governor in New York State. But yeah. We'll talk all about that later. But then also, Elon Musk was on, and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes.
And you probably haven't listened to it yet, and I don't remember his name. But we had a very, very... there was a couple really fucking good podcasts this week from Rogan. Some real heavy shit came out, but... the guy from Nick Yaris, a dude that was on death row for like... 20-some years or something like that. But he got found not guilty. His innocence was proven through DNA testing much, much later. But anyways, his latest one, Morgan Fallon. He's the director of a bunch of the Anthony Bourdain episodes.
Yes.
That's been a very sobering cast to listen to. But anyways, we're going to talk about some Joe Rogan. Some of the guests that were on, some of the topics that were discussed. And, of course, we got to talk fantasy, because both of us picked up our first W last week.
Yes.
And we're going to talk all about that. And we're going to talk about my next week's lineup, because I'm nervous. I made some movements, and I need some of your advice on them.
Deal. So I will give you 2 versions of advice. I will give you advice as Donovan, your competitor. And then I will give you advice as Donovan, the commissioner. And the commissioner advice is much more impartial. Probably much more helpful. So that's definitely what you should look for.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And then we will, because certainly I make it clear to anybody in the league that asks me about it. So are you asking the commissioner, or are you asking your friend Donovan, who is also trying to win $600? Because those are 2 very different things.
I feel like if I ask you the question I need to ask you, you as Donovan, my homie and podcast brother, the godfather of your unborn child, I will be asking you whether this was a good trade or not.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a trade. I picked somebody up on the waiver wire, and I just want to... I'm thinking about starting him this week, and I just don't know what his track record is.
Deal. We're also going to do the pick'ems for my pick'ems league. Word for work. That's you remember that?
Which is where, Donovan?
You remember that? You used to be in that pick'ems league.
Yeah.
So I did Thursday game already because I had to, and I picked it wrong. So I've done terrible this year. I think I only got like 6 last week, and I obviously didn't get this one on Thursday. So we'll go over that. I have a couple of things, some injury updates. I started splitting up my sports stuff into regular like trades and interactions, and then also like injuries, because those are like 2 different things. Like
I need
injuries.
those for fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. The injuries have a little more fantasy implications and stuff like that. So that's what I figure we would do. But the Catholic Church is going to be a really fun topic. That'll lead us into Spotlight and stuff like that, because that was we told everybody last week that they should watch Spotlight. So if you're listening to this now and you listened to last week's episode and you didn't listen to Spotlight, you done fucked up, because we're going to spoil this shit, and I don't feel bad because I told you to listen to it.
Well, I mean, spoilers is on like true events and all the facts that they put forth out of it. I mean, this has all happened since 2002. Yeah. It should not be news to you, really.
Right.
But just seeing if our live stream's up.
Nah, you good.
Word.
So before we continue with anything else, Colin, tell me what you had today to eat.
My amazing and beautiful wife, who I think is watching right now.
What up?
She made me 4 eggs this morning.
Yeah.
And I had 2 pieces of toast and some bacon and a lovely, delicious coffee. As usual, I like it black. I don't know, that was weird. But I don't know. You ever heard of this company called Four Sigmatic? They're like a mushroom supplement.
Yeah, you guys gave me the mushroom coffee.
Word. Well, I've been back on the mushroom coffee gig again.
Yeah.
Because it's got that lion's mane fucking mushroom in it, which is supposed to promote neurogenesis, I believe.
Yeah.
And I believe neurogenesis is a thing and it's very important. So I try to do that, and I have it in my morning coffee every day. It's a little weak for my taste, so I always add some extra coffee to it. But it's wicked good, and that's what I had this morning. Because I did a fast last night, because I think I'm ready to start fasting again. And now that I have a wider knowledge base.
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable about it this time. So it's going to be things from like trying to eat an earlier dinner and then just not eating until like, after I get to work. Which, it'll set me up for like an 8 to 9 hour fast. Maybe like that, and it's all overnight, and then I'll eat breakfast and all that good stuff, and I'll have lunch, and I'll eat throughout the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just thinking about doing that. I fasted last night. I actually slept the best I've slept in like weeks. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it might have just been the melatonin I took last night too.
My fasting is generally between it's either 13 or 14 hours, because I don't eat until 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I don't eat after 7 o'clock at night. But sometimes, like if we eat dinner early enough, then I won't eat after 6. But that's like totally perfect for me. I think I'm at work for like 3 hours or so, like before I eat. So I got a little bit of time to
wake up
doing stuff, and like have my body have to like figure its shit out, and then eat. And
yeah, well, especially like with as early as me and you used to go to work.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not getting up an extra hour earlier to cook breakfast and stuff beforehand.
No.
So you can prep that up like the night before, and then just bring breakfast in.
Yeah. Also, like sometimes I'll usually make a breakfast sandwich while I'm getting ready, because it's just a sausage patty, that I fucking, and then an English muffin, slap a piece of cheese on that bitch, and then I like reheat it at work when I get there. So it's not. Like,
why do we always talk about food after we smoke during the pre-show? I just get so hungry. We talk about food all the time. Yeah, I know why.
Yeah.
But I'm just one of those people, I guess, that whenever I smoke, I get munchies.
Super bad.
Yeah. Last night was a struggle about, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because we were watching another movie. I talked to you before the show, High Fidelity, John Cusack. And, so I was smoking while I was watching that, and I had taken that melatonin, so I was really, really comfy. And then all of a sudden I started to get the munchies, and I was like, man, I know there's ice cream sandwiches in there. I can, Carolina offered to make me a grilled cheese, but I was not willing to let that happen.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about today, man. It's fun. We're back in the, back in our to our roots, back at the Phillips household,
the OG stage.
Yeah, that's the term I was looking at. I was like, shit, what's the OG? And I don't know. I feel really good about today's show. I got a lot of really interesting stuff to talk about. I can't wait to talk to you about Larry Sharp.
I figured.
And mostly just the stuff around. Yeah, I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. And then I want to talk about some of those ideas with you, because I feel like we could have some interesting discussion from that.
Definitely.
Word.
He said a lot of really interesting shit.
Yeah.
Very sharp.
Poorly explained.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I wrote that blog post week before. Was that last week? No, week before last, because you dropped your other. Yeah. So check out the blog.
Part 3 of the Jordan Peterson series.
I love it.
Sorry, not to interrupt you.
No.
I figured that's where you were going.
I was going to drop the blogs.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Check out the blogs. Every Thursday, a blog comes out, which is unfortunate because it's football season now, but that's all right. It's easy enough.
So you could write it on Wednesday and then just drop it.
I try and do that, yeah. And so all the blog posts come out on Thursday. I'm in the middle of going to be a 12-part series, maybe 13 to do like an overall one at the end, but either 12 or 13-part series about all the different rules in the Jordan Peterson book, 12 Rules for Life. So I'm just going chapter by chapter for each.
So you're like set through Christmas then.
I think so. I didn't think like about how far I was going to go out, but especially only doing like I do it every other week, you know. I got a lot of time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think it'd be nice to not have to try to come up with something to talk about every week.
Yes.
And you can just focus, and that could be like your thing. It'll be built into your weekly routine to sit down and read some JBP every single week.
Exactly.
I need to do that too.
That's also what I thought, is that I could then like I had to sit down and make sure that I read that chapter that week, so I knew what was in it, so I could give a. It's going to benefit me in multiple ways. I thought the same thing.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it will be a good deal.
All right, I'm gonna start mine on like my latest science fiction book of the not the same.
The blog posts are just gonna turn into straight book reports,
right?
Chapter by chapter, whatever the fucking book we're reading at the time.
That'd be so funny.
That's funny.
I would like to one day, like I keep thinking about Philly D used to have one, kind of off and on now, but like a podcast based like book club type of thing. Everybody gets together and they listen to the audiobook of, or they read this book every month, and then we all, we do a podcast about it, and then everybody adds their 2 cents in, and I don't know. I like stories, man.
Yeah.
I even started doing that again this week because I didn't ask you how your week was.
But my week was good. On Monday, we had our doctor's appointment. We found out that we are having a boy, so. It's going to be, our baby's a boy. It's almost a whole pound. Everything looks totally legit. They did all the tests, and it's all positive or negative, whichever way it's supposed to be. And so...
That's fucking exciting.
It's really cool.
I literally couldn't stop showing that picture off that you sent to, like, everybody I know. I was like, look, that's my godson. That's my godson. That's my godson.
Yeah, so his name is going to be Dax Phillips.
I love it.
So it's going to be, I've got a lot of compliments on that name. I like that one a lot. So,
any reasoning behind that you would care to share?
Well, there's that celebrity Dax Shepard, and that's where I heard it first. And I tweeted at him once and asked him like where he got the name from, because I loved it so much. It's like I will name my son, like I will give him your name if you tell me where you got it. And so he tweeted back at me, and he said, my parents got it from a book called The Adventurers. And so I looked up the book, and the book is about political revolution in South America.
Oh my God.
And so it's like perfect. Yeah.
Wow.
And the guy's name is like Diogenes Alejandro Zenos in the book. And so they call him Dax.
I like it.
And so that's where they got that name from. And I was like, that's super rad. And I like Dax Shepard. He's in a great show called Parenthood. And
I feel like I've heard that. Does he co-star with Kristen Bell? No, she's just got a different show that's on. That's like that's an Angel thing. No,
because Parenthood's not on anymore, but it used to be. It was like 6 seasons, and Jordan went to Florida like 2 years ago for 10 days or something like that, and that was the first time we had spent any time apart since we had.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so in that time, I didn't do shit besides like smoke weed and play video games and watch TV, and like because I think Trenton might have been like in another state or something like that also. So I was like,
Yeah, I think he was out on for work.
yeah, and so I was like kicking about myself. And so I watched
Fucking loner.
So I watched Parenthood in that whole time, and like I think I watched almost all of it. And so Jordan had to watch just a little bit of it with me when she got back, but then we ended up watching anyway because it was so fucking good.
What network was that?
ABC maybe. It's one of the big ones. And it was great. The Parenthood was a fantastic show, and that's when I like was seeing Dax Shepard all the time, and I was like, man, that's a great name. Like,
have you listened to his podcast?
I listened to one episode of it, right? And
Which one?
It was with Pete Wentz, because I used to really love Fall Out Boy when I was younger.
Oh.
And so I picked Pete Wentz. And so based off of the one episode that I listened to, right, I didn't hate it, but it seemed like a fair amount of the time they were talking about what it was like to be famous. Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
And I was like, I don't really care for this. Like, I don't care. Like, they're like, when you're out on the town and, you're trying to talk to somebody that came up to like ask, whatever, ask for a picture or something like that. Like, and you try and have a conversation with them. Like, they don't want to have a conversation with you. They just want to take a picture with you. And like, well, you're fucking famous. Like, they want to be able to tell other people that they saw you, because that's how most people are, Had I met somebody that I really enjoyed, I would love to have an actual conversation with them rather than take a picture with them,
Mm-hmm.
But most people are not like that. They just want to be able to show other people, put it on the internet so that other people know that they saw
Like,
you.
I saw this guy. I saw this person.
In the world that you became famous in, you have to understand that that's how this is, And I mean, I'm sure that that's just because I'm not famous that I'm like, just fucking get over it. But like, there's just some shit that like you chose to do this for yourself, and you shouldn't really bitch about it, because if you didn't consciously think about that at the time, then that's kind of your own deal, because if you look at other people's situations that are already famous, that's how this is going to be. So.
I'm sensing just a hair of some emotions there that might be tied into Shane Powers. Maybe a little bit. That type
I think that's fully possible. I did not consider that, but I think that's fully possible.
From the outside looking in, perhaps. Just like I said, just a skosh though. But I did listen to, and I think we might. I don't know if I remember. I don't think I mentioned it during the cast. But while we were gone over on the East Coast, we were driving. We drove up Cape Cod for a night, right? Mm-hmm. And we came back the next day, and Carolina wanted to listen to the Dax Shepard podcast, and so I was like, all right, yeah, sure, that's fine. It's like another fucking celebrity podcast.
Right.
But I, again, like a lot of the times, if I just accept it, I'll actually enjoy it. Yeah. I just need to get used to doing that. And I'm kind of a shitty husband that way. Sometimes I don't want to like watch stuff. And I'm like, dude, I only just want to watch my movie. It's so bad.
I want to watch a movie, but like one of these
Not
movies.
that. Yeah, exactly. Especially with the movies, it's hard for me. Because I just have a hard time picking movies in general. But anyways, I digress.
We can talk about that another time.
Yeah. That's, it's a good one.
Or just later in the real podcast.
Yeah, right? We can totally do that. Stick around for the real podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind. We don't live stream anymore.
Monday, son.
Yeah, and then the video Tuesday. I like that.
Me too.
A little 24 hours of separation.
People like the video. People love the video.
I love the video.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun too with it, especially now that I've hammered it out kind of, how like editing the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we don't edit for content. I mean, there's no difference between what you're watching here and what we do when we do the podcast.
And if it's different, it's a beep. We don't take it out. So.
That's true. Which probably is a good thing since we save it.
Yes.
That's a thing to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's become like such a routine now. I just boom, 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 boom.
Right. I
think I've kind of hammered out the format I like for now, and it's just a matter of waiting for rendering and stuff like that. That takes time. It's really fun now because then every now and again I like to play with something. Like I started throwing. I don't know if you noticed.
The logo on the bottom. Yes. It's really sick. It's really sick because then I started noticing it in the other videos I was watching. I was like, this is rad. Because you've been onto YouTube way longer than I've been on YouTube. Like, you got me into watching YouTube.
Oh,
and shit.
okay.
That's what I mean. Like,
and I was a late arrival myself, too.
Yeah.
Especially considering how old I was.
I just didn't care because I'm so into movies and stuff that, like, that's what I've always been really into.
Yeah.
But,
no, I totally get that.
yeah, but you were like, this internet content, and I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, it's some motherfucker that's making a video it's somewhere. You know, I'm like, why do I give a shit about that? But there's, like... open me up to a world of people making like actually really rad content that is
high quality,
so random, like it's because you can find anything on there.
Oh yeah,
anything at all on YouTube. That it's crazy. That's how I don't know if I even talked about it last week. I put all those $500 worth of parts, put them all in my car with the help of my brother David and my best friend Trent. You guys came over and kicked ass, and so we put all those parts in there. YouTube. That's how I learned how to do that. How to replace the water pump in the Land Rover, all of the hoses for the coolant system, like the drive belt. All of that was on YouTube from the same company that I got the parts from. So also shout out fucking Atlantic British because they kick ass. Took my order over the phone.
That's right.
Made sure I was buying all the right parts. Made everything. It was
you up.
Yeah. So we did it. It took us like 4 hours, but.
Well, you guys did a lot. You had a lot to do.
Well, the thing that took the longest was there's a paper gasket that you use for the water pump, and the old one is stuck onto like the housing, so you have to scrape it off, and the mount is aluminum, so you have to be super careful because if you fucking take a little chunk out of it, then everything will be all fuckered up. So that took us 2 hours.
Nerve-wracking.
To remove that paper gasket from just the mount for the water pump,
dude.
And then we were good to go, and like after that we were fucking moving. And then we, replaced all the other hoses that we could while we were taking turns scraping the fucking gas off. Oh, it was horrible. It took forever.
That's funny. I have a little car maintenance story too this week. I changed the brakes on my car, or I was going to.
On the Subaru?
On the Subi. And I just, because it started squeaking and stuff lately, and I was like, oh, okay, it's been a while, I got to change and I just thought it was the fronts. So I went down after work one day, just grabbed the front brakes because I didn't want to buy them both. It's, you're dropping like a Hundo Plus.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll do the fronts this week, and then next week I'll do the backs. So I get home, and I jack the car up, and I take the fucking tire off, and I'm looking at the brake pads. I'm going, these are like full. Fuck. And I looked at the backs. It's the backs I need to do. The fronts are perfectly. Fuck. I got another year probably on the fronts.
And they're different. Yeah. Fucking.
Yep. So now I got to go back, and so I'm going to do that this week. But
you can return them at least.
I was going to.
Yeah. Well, even though you might as well just keep them.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm going to need them next year. Yeah. And I bet you the price will only go up. So I'm going to invest in new brakes.
Just in the future. Set them up somewhere, right? And like, it's not like they're going to go bad. You know?
So I bought the wrong fucking brakes for my car.
That blows.
Yeah.
I also changed out a bunch of light bulbs too on my car, and I bought like 3 sets of the wrong light bulbs and opened them up every time, so I couldn't return them. So I have 2 sets of the wrong light bulbs in my Land Rover because I first just bought the ones that I thought it was because I was too lazy to take a fucking light bulb out and take it in there. So I bought the wrong ones. And then I took light bulbs out and I brought them in there, but like the bottoms were wrong, but the wattage and everything was right, and the bulbs looked the same, but the bottom was wrong. So I was like, "Fuck!" So, but I had already opened them, so I had to go and buy another. Oh yeah, I was really pissed.
That's rough.
But I don't like when stuff like that happens, and when small things, I'm like,
light bulbs aren't too bad.
When I'm like, that's what I get, like this is part of the lesson that is going to go into like me not ever doing that again as well. The last time I spent fucking $15 on wrong light bulbs because I'm an idiot. So I just want to make sure that I buy the right ones this time. So I'm going to fucking match up all the stuff. I'll remember that forever because that's the type of stupid shit that I carry with me, that I'm like, I had to spend $15 one time and fuck that. That's what I'm going to remember forever.
Never going to do that again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, word. We should probably wrap it up. We might be going a little long.
Yeah, no, I think that's about good. So we'll go over the social medias again.
Word.
We're going to fucking get this. saltofthestreets.com. Look at us. We're in the same shit. So saltofthestreets.com is where you can find absolutely everything. The blog posts are there. All of my tweets are there. All the episodes are there. All the everything. Links to fucking everything is there. The YouTube page at Salt of the Street for all of our videos that come out on Tuesdays. SoundCloud at Salt of the Streets is where the podcasts go up, and they go everywhere else afterwards. Twitter is at Salt of the Street and Big Bird Offie. And then Instagram is Big Bird Offie, and I'm Alpaca_Donovan. Facebook at Salt of the Streets because you're here already. And Instagram, we have one at Salt of the Streets. I think that is absolutely everything.
Love every second of it.
Yeah, so I'm Donovan.
I'm Colin.
And that's it. This is episode 31 pre-show. Check it out on Monday for the actual episode. Peace.
Bye,
Peace. Shout out Silver City Brewery. One time for the one time.